welcome to our evening news roundup for tonight. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, proceeded on Wednesday to a partial reshuffle among the province's general secretaries. The terms of several of them were terminated. In his opening speech of the Parliament session for 2020-2021, the acting President of the Council of the Nation, or the Senate, Salah Goujil, stressed the importance of the choice made for the coming November the 1st as the date for the referendum on the future Algerian constitution. In his keynote speech, Salah Goujil stated that the choice of the date is not fortuitous, as it is important to coincide all major events that relate to the future of the Algerian nation with its history through the draft of the constitution. The President of the Republic wanted to include everyone in the making of such decision and event. To that end, a major mobilization of Algerians to serve Algeria will be crucial for the country's becoming. He reminded that many challenges have been overcome, but nevertheless there will be more challenges to face in order to establish strong legal constitutional foundations and strengthen the institutional legitimacy of Algeria. For his part, the President of the People's National Assembly, Slimane Chennine, said that November the 1st, 2020 will be the proclamation of a new era and the end of the one of monopolization of power and wealth. In addition to that, he stated that this date for the referendum means that the reference to the country's history remains a necessity for the proclamation of such era. A historical reference date which embodies the glory of the Algerian people in terms of challenges faced and choices asserted. Today, Algeria wants to take on the challenge of the economic independence through well-established reforms. The new constitution text will meet the expectations and proposals of political figures, specialists and all parties involved in its drafting, while considering the aspirations of the sovereign Algerian people. And finally, he concluded that there would not have been a constitutional life without thanking the National People's Army, the dignified keeper of the legacy of the National Liberation Army. The coming November the 1st will be the date of the referendum on the Constitution, and as such, the proclamation of a new era that will be built on active citizenship, popular legitimacy, and social justice, as best stated by the President of the People's Assembly. On the sidelines of the opening of the ordinary parliament session, the acting President of the Council of the Nation, Salah Goujil, and the President of the People's National Assembly, Slimane Chennine, chaired over the meetings of the parliament offices. For the occasion, the Minister in charge of relations with Parliament, Basma Azwar, presented a list of projects which may be included in the program of the parliament session.
Prime Minister Abdelaziz Jarrad chaired on Wednesday, September 2, 2020, a government meeting devoted exclusively to the review of the implementation modalities of measures of the recovery plan for a new economy, according to a schedule modulated in 3 phases. Urgent measures to be implemented before the end of 2020, short-term measures for the year 2021, and medium-term measures to be implemented during the period 2022-2024. It should be recalled that the economic recovery plan was the subject of broad consultation during the meeting, which brought together on the 18th and 19th August 2020, under the high authority of the President of the Republic, members of the government, economic and social partners, and which was marked by the strong participation of national expertise. The conclusions and recommendations resulted from this meeting were consolidated, taking into account the directives of the head of state issued during this meeting and the various meetings of the Council of Ministers, and will thus constitute the government's action plan for economic recovery. This action plan will be broken down into quantifiable and measurable operational actions over time, according to an implementation schedule, as indicated above, in the short and medium term for each sector, setting out emergencies and deadlines. Within this framework, the Prime Minister has instructed the members of the government to set up, within their respective ministerial departments, a permanent and rigorous monitoring mechanism for this recovery plan. It is understood that the government will monitor the progress of this recovery plan on a permanent basis, as well as its evaluation at government meetings and at the Interministerial Council, and will report periodically to the President of the Republic and the Council of Ministers on its implementation. Finally, the Prime Minister instructed the Minister of Communication, government spokesman, to implement a communication plan to report to public opinion on the level of implementation of the actions included in the indicative timetable of each ministerial department.
Major General Haj Al-Arousi Jamal, acting commander of the 2nd Military Region, presided the official inauguration ceremony of the Major General Abdel Qadir Ayyad at the main Navy base of Mars Al-Kabir in Oran on Wednesday as the new commander of the Western Sea Front in succession to General Abdelaziz Sha'lal, after a welcoming ceremony and the presentation of the military honors at the entrance of the base. The acting commander of the 2nd Military Region went over the arms squares, where he inspected the aligned formations to begin the installation ceremony. After the inauguration speech, the commander of the region supervised the ceremony of handing over the emblem of the Western Sea Front to the new commander and then held an inauguration meeting before signing the Golden Book.
During his working visit to Ulwad province, southern Algeria, the delegate minister to the prime minister in charge of micro-enterprises, Nassim Diafat, talked about the launch of a digital platform to support the promoters of micro-enterprises and project leaders of the National Agency for the Support of Youth Employment, ANSEJ. This digital platform aims to provide technical support for young people seeking investments to set up microenterprise, and it will help address the concerns of investors at the national level with replies within 24 hours. Nassim Diafat wanted to reassure investors about the support of the state. According to these investors, proceedings are going well, and they are very grateful to take this opportunity. Promoting microenterprises is a modern alternative for the national economy and among the government's priorities.
For the 2nd of September 2020, 325 new confirmed cases, including 7 new deaths, have been reported in the last 24 hours, according to the spokesman of the Scientific Committee in charge of monitoring the evolution of COVID-19 pandemic, Professor Jamal Fourar. He added that in the last 24 hours, 20 provinces have reported no new cases, 16 provinces have registered between 1 and 9 cases, and 12 other provinces have recorded more than 10 cases. 253 patients have recovered, which brings up the total number of cured patients to 31,746, while 35 are in intensive care. To conclude, Professor Jamal Fourar stressed the necessity to remain vigilant and to observe healthy measures and the mandatory wearing of face masks. On Wednesday, the United Nations Security Council discussed the support mission in Libya. 2 sessions are scheduled to decide whether to extend the UNSML mandate by 1 year or not. It will also discuss the mission's activities for a permanent ceasefire and the resumption of political talks, a path where Libyan parties took recently. In addition, the United Nations Secretary General wishes to expedite the appointment of his new special representative for this country. And that's it for our news roundup. Thanks for joining us. Good night.